We were always taught that we had to be very careful and take care of water. That water was very precious, and you were told you don't waste water whatsoever. Like today we talk about the 7 grandfather teachings. Water was not to be wasted. When I was growing up, we had a well for drinking. We had another well that was for doing laundry. And then when the well would go dry in the summer, then we went to a spring in the bush here to haul our water. And you were always told, try not to spill the water. You don't play with them. You had to respect that. And that was part of your life. Every day you had to haul water. We'd haul the water for her to do the laundry. The well was our refrigerator. You had a garden, you had to water your garden and take good care of it. And you collected rainwater. Those are things you were brought up with, but you weren't told, well, this is Mother Earth or this is your lifeline or anything like that. It was just something you were brought up knowing, and that water sustained all life, and you had to respect it, like you're supposed to respect all of life. It was a vision of my cousin Karen Manitoulin. She's had a vision. She was shown to walk for the water. From the time she started, I was involved. I worked. I couldn't take part, I think, till the 3rd year. I sent my pipe, and my pipe has been on the water walk every year since the water walk started. And that was her vision. That was what was given to her, to walk and to pray for the waters on our reserve. She did the water walk. She prayed for the waters. So every year I sent my pipe because I was working. I couldn't take part, but when she'd do the end part, I was working at the schools here, and then I joined on the walk with some young people and would help her finish her walk. And it would be like late afternoon, and she'd be finished like around 5, so it would help her finish her walk. And after that, I was retired, so I was able to go on the walks with her. And just hearing their stories, what they had to share. Anybody that does a water walk, it's your own personal experience. It's your way of prayer. And things come to you. You pray. You pray for everything, everyone. Sometimes that water gets heavy. Sometimes it's really, really light, the water gets. Beavers, they clean that water, you know.
Beavers, yeah.
They clean the water. I don't know if people know that. They have a big role in cleaning our waters. And what do people do? They destroy those dams. But they're destroying our land that way. And the marshlands. Because I remember when I was growing up here, I think it's prairie grass it's called. I saw it out west. It's a grass and there are little yellow things on top. You'd find it along some shorelines here. You don't see that at the beaches here anymore. And killdeers, and we used to hear whippoorwills at night. I don't hear, I think one time I heard a whippoorwill this year, not too long ago. We used to hear loons in the water here. Very, very seldom hear a loon around here. And they used to have blue herons around here. I never see them. And we have sandhill cranes now. I don't know when they came, because growing up, I never remember seeing a sandhill crane. And then I heard that down in the States, somebody said, that's where our cranes went. And they said, we have the blue herons now. So what happened? They're working with Manitoulin Streams for, I think last year it was over here at Pontiac School, that creek, doing that marshland. That's new way at Prairie Point. And they're starting to mark off where there's endangered wildlife. We have to respect those things. And you know, when we go out and people pick their medicines and that, you gotta remember, don't overpick things. You know, Like trilliums are an endangered species. And I think we're so lucky here on the island because we can see lots of trilliums still. But if the people keep picking and picking, we're not going to see a lot of them. Things will start going away, and with global warming, that's going to affect all of us. Underwater oil pipeline, that's going to affect us. Can you imagine if that one in Michigan goes? How long is that oil going to take to come up to our area? Not very long. So there's lots we have to think about for the future generations, for them to enjoy these waters. We as Indigenous people have to look after the land and look after the water. We're the fire keepers also, but we ourselves have to do our part. We ourselves cause pollution. I remember a time you didn't really hear about our culture or our ceremonies, but I was told at one time by an elder, it's only sleeping, it'll come back to life, and it'll come back in your lifetime. And I do see that. I see the ceremonies coming back in that for our people. And we have to learn to accept all ways of life. I think that's my philosophy of life, is accepting everyone and everything in all walks of life and all people's ways. And we all have to work together to make it a better and safer and healthy place. We don't want our future generations suffering and having to really suffer to have water, the animals and everything. Like all of creation, we have to look after all of creation. Out of all of creation, we're the most destructive things in creation, man. We have to learn, maybe by observing the animals and the birds, water life. Maybe we'll learn something and open our eyes and try and go back. We can never go back to the way things were, but we can certainly do our part to make things better. Put a lot of pressure on the youth. A lot of things go back to the youth. But I think we, as older people too, have to do our part. We have to be that example for our youth, first of all, and do things in a positive way. That is how our youth will learn to do things in a positive way also. Teach our children about the water, about the animals and things, and how everything is tied together, and we have to have that respect for those. That is where things start. Things have to start in the home. When we throw a pebble in the water, we see how it ripples. Well, if we do those things in our home, then we'll see it rippling out, and it goes further and further, and it'll go out into the community and out into the world. So everyone has a part. It's not just the youth. Lately, I've noticed it's a hit and miss with the smelts when they're going to run, right? And that's because of change. Sometimes you get lots of smelts, sometimes you don't. And I remember a few times hearing smelts were staying out in the deep water. They weren't coming in. Or the smelts started running earlier than people thought. So by the time they went out, the smelts were practically finished running. So those kind of things too, like you have to keep an eye on, like they say, you're taught things like, we're told, when you hear the frogs, the bullfrogs, you know for sure the smelts are going to be running. But do people wait to hear the bullfrogs? No, not nowadays. We have, growing up, I don't ever remember trout coming up this stream here by the water treatment plant. I remember going out in South Bay and we went right in the bush to go get smelts. I mean, you're right in the bush catching them. So it's, it's a hit and miss with things nowadays. And maple syrup, like when you make maple syrup, and some people are starting earlier, and you hear the older people that have made maple syrup saying, oh, they're starting too early. Then when you do maple syrup, always being told, You don't make any more maple syrup once that first thunder comes. Doesn't taste the same anymore. It's different. So it all comes back to the same thing, eh? Reduce, reuse. Oh, those 3 R's all come in there too. We all have to do our part.